So if you come through the yard this way, we've got the fat cattle, the store cattle. I'm not a massive fan of the cows, so this is definitely Tom's area.
They're just big, big and scary.
When I first met Tom, he hadn't been on a farm before, so I'm not from farming, and they said sort of stand there in that gap, they won't come at you, and lo and behold all the cows came straight at me, didn't they?
Yeah.
And my now father-in-law had to sort of rush in front and gee them up and get them out the way. So I think since that day I've always had a wear of me and cows.
Yeah. Well, these are last year's calves, so we'll be hoping to sell some of them soon to make room for the next lot coming in. Then we have a selection of the big ones which we supply our butcher shop with.
And that noise in the background is the guinea fowl, which I like to keep. So I've got lots of poultry, peacocks, geese, chickens, guinea fowl, so they're all next door, so you can hear them. Whenever there's something about, they like to make a noise. So in the first section, first half, we've got the kind of cows that have calved, so you'll see they're slightly older, they're all hiding around, there's a few come forward. So these have already calved this year, and then in the next pen we'll show you in a second, they're all due to calve as well.
So we just keep them away from the others, just so they can get used to being around everything else before they go outside. As soon as it dries up, thank you, love. As soon as it dries up, they'll be going outside, so which they're much better outside. They want to go out as soon as they can, really. I've been here full time since I left college, which I left college when I was 18, went straight from school, and I've been here and doing other jobs for other different farmers. Then we've built it up over the years, and I'm here full time now. Me and my dad do it between us. My granddad's about, and my old uncle as well. They're about as well to give us some tips if we need any. I think I'm fifth generation to be here at this farm, which it's changed a hell of a lot since back then. I didn't want to do anything else. I just didn't want to do anything else. After school, I was always trying to come over on my bike and weekends, and I didn't want to go away in the summer holiday. I just wanted to come here, so I've just always wanted to do it. We grow arable, wheat, barley, oats to produce our own feed and bedding. Then we sell the surplus, and then we calve about 60 cows and we lamb about 400 ewes. And yeah, it keeps me busy. Yeah.
So we're lambing at the moment, so we lamb sort of beginning of March all the way through to May, beginning of May, and we lamb in 2 bunches. So we have 250 of our first bunch, which are our older ewes, so they're a lot easier, they just kind of lamb and give birth. And then we've got about 150 of our yearlings or first timers, so they're a bit harder work and might have a few more problems because they haven't
a bit more of a challenge.
We haven't lambed before. So we've actually got a couple of things going on in here, because we've got our nursery. So this is our lambing nursery. Come on in.
We just leave them in here for a few days just to bond together before they go outside, because obviously it's a big world out there in the field. It's better if you just give them a few days to get a bit stronger.
So the way it works is they lamb in polytunnel, so they'll have their lambs. And then we'll put them in a single pen. You can see a couple of them at the back here, and that's their kind of time to bond and get to know each other. Then they move into what's called the nursery. So in here, they'll all just get to know each other in a group, basically. Can you find your mum? Check everybody's healthy. As you can see, they're absolutely fine. And then when they're a bit full and the weather's all right, we'll turn them out into the field then. So you kind of go through a 4-stage process that just makes sure all the lambs are fit and healthy and good to go.
Yep.
So there's loads in here. You can get uglier looking lambs. That's a bit mean, isn't it? Uglier looking lambs. And you can get some really cute lambs.
I can't catch one there.
If you want to. Oh, that's a challenge. There you are, there's a cuter looking lamb.
That's a better one.
That's a better looking lamb.
That's a better
cute
one.
Looking lamb.
She's only 3 or 4 days old. 3 or 4 days old, so they seem to, as soon as they get outside, they seem to grow like mad then, which is what we want.
She's gone over there now. And lambing, I'll be honest, it always starts bad. It did this year. You always have a few deaths to start with in lambing, a few problems. You always feel like, oh, something's going to go wrong, and then it turns out. And then it just
explodes into that busy. You're just into it, and then
it just happens, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So it's
obviously there's a lot
lovely.
going on. Like there's 240 all about to give birth, theoretically from the same date. So you know you're going to incur things along the way, but you just get round it and keep going.
So this is our lambing polytunnel. In the kind of rest of the year we just use it for storage, but
it's obviously very wet because it hasn't stopped raining for the last 6 months, it feels like.
So everything in here is due to lamb at any moment, and basically what we've got up the middle is what we're using as our walkway, but it's our feeders. So in the morning you walk along, tip the food in, all their heads come through and they'll eat their food, but everything in here is due to lamb. If you wanna go together. So I'm from the countryside, so I kind of lived down the road in the next village. I never knew Tom and his farm were here, and I went off to university as everybody does, and I actually moved to London. So I knew nothing about farming. I didn't know breeds of sheep, didn't know cows, didn't know the farming, even the farming calendar. It sounds so pathetic when I look at it now. I would not know that they would plant and they would harvest. You'd see the tractors in the field, but I wouldn't connect the two together. So if I went and walked through a wheat field, I wouldn't realise that that was actually a wheat crop that was going to make my bread. I don't think, unless you come from that background and you have an interest, I just didn't get exposed to it, so I didn't learn about it. So for me it's been a massive learning curve, learning all the basics, and there's so much knowledge that Tom has and his family have that they probably don't realise, that the general public don't know. Like, this is just a sheep to me, but now it's not. It's a ewe, or it's a yearling, or it's a lamb, or it's a certain breed, and there's all of that information that I've had to learn over time. And we've had some good giggles because they kind of be like, oh, I'll get down by the Limousin, and I'm thinking, what's the Limousin? I don't know. And every field's got a name, so the sheep in the 19 acre, and I'm thinking, I don't know where the 19 acre. So there is certain farming ways which we've had a real laugh with, but it's been amazing. It's been an amazing journey, and there's still so much more for me to learn, especially on the arable side. I don't get involved with the kind of tractors, boys and their toys, so there's a load more for me to learn, but it's been really interesting. And lambing is my favourite. It's the favouriteest thing I've learned, probably because they're cute little lambs, but it's been a really good journey for me. To get our boys into it and to get them to keen, even if they don't want to do that, that's absolutely fine, but them to have that passion about field to fork and learning about our produce and British produce and our welfare standards is really important for the future, and learning all about that's something that we can pass on to them, and then they can pass on to their friends that aren't exposed to this. So that's really nice that we have the ability to do that. So they just wander around, make themselves comfy. It's quite nice and warm in here, help themselves to food, water, and they'll just lamb in this middle section, so they'll just lamb either side. And as you can see at the sides, we've then got pens built up either side. So once they've lambed and they've had the correct number, we'll put them into that pen with their mum, and that's their time. They can get their milk, build their strength, ready to move down into the nursery. When they lamb, they'll like circle round, they'll like make a little nest, they'll start to lick their lips. You'll see them kind of lie on their side, and there's some really obvious signs. Like
they normally do it about tea time.
Yeah, when you're having dinner.
Just to go and do the last checks before we go home for tea, and you'll see one nesting and top lip going and licking, and you think, oh, so there's your tea postponed for another hour.
That's all right. No, it's coming. His head's out. You can see it's coming now. So you take it, and basically clearing its airways, making sure that it can breathe. You're taking it by its front 2 feet, just gently helping her, and then just put it round by her face so she can see, and just she'll lick them up now.
That's it. Them licking them like stimulates the lamb to want to breathe and get started.
And she'll concentrate on that lamb now. She's due to have another one, but she'll concentrate on that one for a minute, get it breathing and going before she then starts lambing the second one. So there'll be a gap now.
It's crazy how quick it is sometimes.
You can see that natural mother's instinct just completely kicks in.
Yeah, he's fine.
There's no better sight though, is there, than that?
No, it's just lovely.
So lovely. This is like the bottom half of the village, if you like. So they go from the nursery, which we've seen down on the farm, we turn them out in the field when the weather's good. So this is our first bunch we've turned out this year. So you can see they're all nicely paired up, lambs and mums. You can see the markings that we talked about earlier. Nice, strong, healthy lambs running about. And we'll just come up here once a day, every day, to feed them, feed the mums, and just check everybody's okay and everybody's where they should be. It's a really nice sight, sitting out in the field.
You normally have like eggs for breakfast, don't you? Let's go and get the eggs. Let's keep the wolf, the fox out. No one's here. Eggs! Eggs, just hand down. I found one egg. Let's just put this again.
Yeah, I would love one of my kids to come into the farm, because it's been in, you know, it's like 5th generation, so it would be good, but it is a tough job, especially with the lambing and the calving. There's so much, you know, like you're bringing new life into the farm. You know, you've got all the things that you've got to keep on top of and keep an eye on, and it's 24 hours a day. It always seems to be like on a weekend I'll try and go back up home, spend some time with the kids, and just as I'm about to leave, something will happen. But that's just the way it is. It's very busy. Wouldn't have it any other way. I wouldn't know what to do anywhere else. I've only ever done this.
I couldn't believe when I saw what they do, what an amazing story it is, and they just didn't realise and probably still don't realise and take it for granted, because that's what they've always known. Whereas somebody who'd lived in the city and just gone to my local Tesco Express or whatever it was and just picked something up off the shelf and never gave it that thought. For me, it was amazing that this is what we do here, this is what we produce. We have that quality, that control, that passion, and the emotion that goes into farming, to then all the way through to go to our local family butcher's shop, and the passion and the quality that goes into that produce. It's just an incredible cycle that you don't see. So it's something that I'm passionate about shouting for them, because I know they won't do it.